then because of all the homeless people, what could we do that they get a better life?
Well, there are a few things I should tell you. When this began in 2008, when the recession first hit, many people lost their homes. And the government was overwhelmed. They couldn't find places for everybody. They didn't have the time. So many tent cities sprang up all over the United States. There are still 10 cities in the United States, but they're smaller and fewer now because the government has had 5 years to try to place people in better living situations. I think that to be honest, what the United States could do and should do is follow the example of countries like Germany that have safety nets so that nobody really becomes completely impoverished, that there are social systems to support people so that if somebody in your family becomes seriously ill, you don't become completely poor. Right now, as you probably know in the United States, the government has been shut down because there are certain idiots called Republicans who, for some insane reason, don't want everybody to be able to get health care. It's insanity. Well, it's not insanity. If you really want to know what it's about, it's a bunch of old white rich men who are really worried that they're losing power. And they are losing power because white people will be the minority in the United States in 20 years. And the Asians and the blacks and Hispanic and everybody else will be the majority. So it's really sad and it's unfortunate. But I think the best thing you can do is have a really good social safety net. And maybe once you have $1 billion, maybe you should pay a little bit more tax. Now, to give you an example, there's a man you've probably heard of in the United States. His name is Warren Buffett. He is worth $46 billion. That would be, I don't know, 35 billion euro. He pays, his percentage of taxes that he pays on that money is less than what his secretary pays. He pays a great deal more taxes, but the percentage is less than his secretary because of the way the tax system is set up. And even he says it's insanity. But that's the way it is.
While doing research, how do you get in contact with people? Like, do you go to them and talk to them, or do you pay them something?
Well, no, that's a very good.
Homeless people, how do you get them speaking?
You know that you sound like you were once homeless. I'll tell you. To have asked that question. Usually, you know, I go to a tent city and I talk to people. Or I, you know, do research and talk to whomever. But when I was researching Asphalt Tribe about the teenage kids who were runaways living on the street, they always wanted money to talk to me. Because in their lives, everything is about getting some money for giving something. That's the way they think. That's the way they've been taught to think. That adults always want something from them, and all they can do is get some money for whatever it is they want. So it's a very astute question. When it came to interviewing for Asphalt Tribe, I did have to give some kids a little money or buy them a meal or something like that. Yeah? Well, actually, I don't always write about controversial themes. I write about other things as well, but the books that are popular here in German-speaking countries, the ones that are translated into German, tend to be the controversial ones. Believe it or not, I actually write some funny books as well. But they don't get translated.
Why did you choose the name Morton
Yeah. Back when I was just starting to write, I spent a long time working on a book called Friends Till the End. It's about a friend of mine who became very ill. While I was writing it, my publisher found out about this experiment called The Wave, and they asked me if I would write a book based on it. They thought that I would be a good writer for it. And so it turned out that both books were going to come out at the same time. So you have two books by Todd Strasser, The Wave and Friends Till the End, but at the time nobody knew who Todd Strasser was. My publisher was worried that people would go into a bookstore and maybe buy one book by Todd Strasser, but not two, by this unknown author. So they said, well, why don't you change your name? Why don't you come up with another name for one of the books? So I thought, well, Todd is similar to the word Tod, German, it means dead. Strasser is like street. We'll translate dead street into French, and we'll get Morton Rhue. So in the United States, I'm Todd Strasser. In Germany, I'm Morton Rhue, and in France, I should be Dead Street. That would be the complete circle.